I hope you guys are ready. It's going to be a long ass video. Look at that list of notes, all for this episode. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Turmoil at Tranmere with me, GWFM. We are on episode 28, and today it's going to be the end of season review. It's going to be a long ass one, like I said in the pre-intro, and we've got a lot to get through, so let's just get to it, shall we? So what we'll start off with is that final game of the season. It was against Forest Green. I'll just highlight the actual players here. Basically, I rested quite a lot of players. If I say rested, I just basically give the youngsters a run out. So Stuart Earle, the 15-year-old goalkeeper, came in. Did alright, to be fair. Benjamin started. Ward started again. Lewis, who's not normally regular, but he's played some first-team football. He was there. Olaolu Draper, he played his first game. 15-year-old as well, middle of the park. Dyer played, he's not the best really. Diaz, 19-year-old, aside from Bournemouth, he played very, very well actually, 7.9, despite having a poor result basically. Cameron Berry came on in the second half, and I gave McEvely and Sutton the final bows, if you like, for the club, with them both retiring. But alas, we did lose thanks to Doig and Isaiah Osborne. That put us to the sword. They cemented their place in the playoffs. We'll get into how everyone got on in playoffs and other divisions later. So first of all, I just want to mention Kasumu. He's going to be staying for another year. He was the one player actually I forgot to see if he wanted to stay another year in terms of another loan. So he's agreed terms. He's coming back next year. Provides us quite a bit of cover, and he's a decent player anyway. Connor Hunt is departing. He's going to be joining Stockport County when his contract is up, in about a week's time. We're on the 30th of May now. I've tried to make sure everything was played and all the awards have been done. Again, we'll come on to that later. But yeah, glad he's gone. It was been a bit of a pain in the dick. 425 quid a week for a backup keeper was quite a lot, to be fair. And yeah, we're never really going to get in a team ahead of Davis. So everything has been decided now in terms of the league. Obviously, we knew we were going up. We knew Mansfield were going up. However, it was Swindon Town that beat everyone in the playoffs, and they're going to be joining us next season in League One. Just a few things I want to highlight in amongst all the stats. We were the top team for average possession, also passes, completion ratio, as well as the complete passes. Quite a few things that we were top of. Was highlighting the main ones, including conceded 42 goals. That was the least of the league. I actually got an achievement for that. Iron Curtain, I think it is. I got that actually recently when it actually decided that the season was over. The average attendance was very good. It ended up being 7,872. I think we were actually helped by the last game of the season being 15,114, which was very pleasing indeed. It's a sign, hopefully, of things to come where we can continue to progress to make money via gate receipts and what have you. I think one of the most important ones, I think, is that it was earlier, we were 23rd, but apparently now we're 24th. So yeah, we've done this on the shoeiest string budget of the entire division, basically. And we did actually get the most clean sheets, which is in part, I'll go to the next screen, well, largely in part to Davis. 16 clean sheets he ended up with. Maybe it was a full not to play him at the end, but he's ended up losing that to Sam Walker regardless, because he was in the playoffs. He must have got a clean sheet, because I think we could have tied with him. It wasn't to be though. But Devon Green, top of the assist charts by 4. So as a result, I've offered him a new contract. He's yet to accept it, but I'm pretty confident that he will do. It's not great, don't get me wrong, but when he's got the actual attributes, not the attributes, the stats and the assists and whatever, and how well he's actually played all season, I've got no choice. But we'll go into the actual squad and how they've all performed later. And by later, I mean now. And basically what it is there's one other player I've offered a contract to. I'll get onto the end, like the other players that are out of contract in the summer. But we've got Jermaine Grandison. I've offered him another contract. He's got another 1-year deal with an option of another year if he plays 10 games, I think it is. He's going to be on a rotation contract, as you can see there. He's understanding he's not going to be as good. He's taking a bit of a pay cut as well, 1,200 as opposed to 1,600. So I'm very happy with that. Devon Green is going to be making a little bit of money, but that's probably going to be accounted thereabouts from the less money from Grandison. But into the actual attributes and everything, we're going to go through everything now. Top app maker was Scott Davis, of course, the goalkeeper. He did have an injury spell, but I think he missed about 4 games, which was a shame, but never mind. Gary Clegg, this 18-year-old now, he was 17 largely for long spells, as you would guess. He's just turned in May, 18 years old. 43 games, went off the bench. Very pleasing indeed. Next was Devante Jacobs. This was partly because Barney, because of how many loanees we had, I didn't really have a spot for him, and the other players were just far too integral. So yeah, that was mainly because of that. 8 off the bench as well when Etamani did play, because Etamani didn't do that well, in truth. Next is Steven Sessegnon. 39 appearances. He had a couple of injuries here and there, and I did rotate him a little bit with Grandison, but I was very pleased with his performance. Remember, we are keeping him next season as well, which I'm very pleased about. So yeah. And then finally it is the Hound, who I'm hoping we can keep. I'm hoping that his contract is going to expire and I can actually sign him permanently. Then we're going to look at the top goal scorers. I've got 3 players in double figures, which is very pleasing. Raul Correa, a late surge, saw him get to 23 goals in 24 starts, to be fair, which isn't bad. I know he's had a lot of games off the bench. Next up was Alabi, who had a very good season, a lot better than what I expect him to have. And you can see they kind of valued it roughly the same as well. 17 goals and 26 appearances. He had a dry spell, quite a long dry spell, and then all of a sudden just hit form. When Raul Correa dropped off form, Alabi stepped in his shoes and just kicked ass. Devante Jacobs, 14 goals in 40 appearances from the left wing, which is very impressive, and 10 assists to boot as well. Very impressive indeed. And then Devine Green was next with 8. With 18 assists as mentioned, doing very well from 29 appearances. And then you got James Norwood weighing in with 5. 5 not really been a very high margin. 16 starts, 26 appearances off the bench, shows that he's probably not going to be deemed as an important player, which is why I'm considering letting him go. We'll have to wait and see. Is he wanted? He is wanted indeed by Mansfield, who are coming up with us, so if we do let him go, he could come up against us. We'll have to wait and see. Top assist makers, as I've already mentioned, Devine Green and Devante Jacobs are there, but other notable mentions, we've got Jack Dunn with 8, 7 for Norwood, and Callum Guy picking up 5 assists as well. Very pleasing indeed. But probably the most important one is the average rating, and you can see exactly why I've offered contracts to 2 of these players anyway. So Devine Green, obviously 7.3. I've offered him because of that and the fact he's created so many goals. Don't forget, he doesn't take corners. So I remember, in previous FMs, you used to be able to have a corner taker. I remember having Robert Snodgrass at Leeds, and it must have been a corner glitch where centre-backs just scored every single time. I think my top scorer with 34 goals were a centre-back one time, and Snodgrass got pretty much all of those assists. So yeah, but it's not like that. He doesn't take corners because he's shit at them. 6 for corners and 7 techniques. So yeah, there you go. Devante Jacobs was next with 7.16, which is why I'm tempted to keep him on, but I haven't offered him a contract yet. It's pure for a fact he's on 200 quid a week at the minute, and when I try to offer him a contract, he's after about 1,100 to start off with. I'm not sure it's worth it, and all those reds are helping, I must admit, the red arrows. It's just, he's only going to be backup at best. Is he going to be good enough for League One? I'm not sure. I might see what sort of budgets are getting when it gets to June sort of time, and I'll make a decision then on him. But he's been very good for us, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know. I mean, I know it's arguable about Devine Green, but the assists and the match rating and the fact it's quick, I think helps him, whereas Devante Jacobs isn't as quick. We'll have to wait and see. I haven't fully decided yet. His average is 9s and 10s pretty much across the board. That's my feeling anyway. Next up was James Alabi, who, again, like I said before, made a late surge. It was largely in the late 6s for ages, but it broke into the 7s and maintained it, got to 7.1, which is fantastic from him. As it is Callum Guy getting a 7.1 as well. Very consistent when he did play. Didn't play all the time. Had 4 very good centre midfielders to rotate, all on loan, by the way, which obviously did hinder us in terms of, like I said, Tambane. They got Stefan Sessegnon and the Hound. So I was always struggling there to get a decent mix going, and keeping them all on the bench. So that's why they haven't made. Well, he hasn't made as many appearances, but it looks like he was the best performing of all the centre midfielders. So the fact that he's staying for another year is very pleasing. And then finally, another player, like I said, I've already offered him a contract. 7.08, very solid when he did play 30 games in all as well, whether it be right back or centre back. Did a job either way, and I'm very happy to be keeping him on for another year. I'll have a quick look at the key passes. So we've got Divine Green 55, Dak Dunn 53, 49 for Jacobs, 44 for James Norwood to be fair, and 37 for Isaac Christie Davis popping up there with his 10 appearances and 16 off the bench. Key headers, you've got, as expected, the two main centre-backs being the Hound and the Clegg, I suppose. James Alby won 35, which is very good. Sessegnon got 34, despite not being the tallest and playing at right back. And Jermaine Grandison, like I said, Mr. Step in and cover either right back or centre-back, picking up 29. And key tackles, basically all defenders, really. It's basically the original starting back four, and then Grandison, who's like the cover option. So yeah, very pleasing indeed. Now that brings me on to the last thing, which is the contracts. Right, so obviously the blue ones are all the loanees, and Connor Kirby is staying, so no point highlighting him. I'm going to let Brian Nettenbarney go, I think. He didn't feature that much. He doesn't look bad, to be fair. But I know I said he didn't play well, but is that their average rating is only boosted by these two games that he played in a row. He played very, very well, 8.9 and 8.1. And then after that, he just went back to his original, like, if it wants to highlight again, please, 6.7s. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, meh. So because of that, he's had a few injuries as well. I don't think I'm going to keep him on. Regan Slater, I want to keep him. Don't think I'll be able to. It is a massive shame. But Sheffield United want to play him next season. Connor Kirby, I'm undecided whether to try and keep him. I think his contract is up as well, so I may try and sign him as well, because he's been decent to some degree. Only 6.95, but probably decent as like a fourth choice centre midfielder maybe. Connor Hunt we know about. Divine Green is signing a new contract. Devante Jacobs, as mentioned, I'm not sure what to do with him yet. James Norwood is on 1,500 quid a week. It's quite a lot of money. He's down as a first teamer. He's nowhere near a first teamer, but I might look to let him go. And the Hound, as mentioned, I wouldn't mind giving him a contract if he gets released. We'll have to wait and see. Jay McEverley, as mentioned, he is going to be getting released. Sutton has actually already gone. He's retired. I've got it written down. Just realised it's no longer in the squad because I'm going to say about it now. But if I just go to staff attributes of Jay McEverley, this guy's a head of youth development with working with youngsters, 1. Judging playability, 1. And judging player potential, you guessed it, 1. So I'm pretty confident he's going to get a job in the Premier League. Right, so a few little things. It's all in the news feed, a lot of this now, that we have got. We've received 25 grand for achieving first place in Sky Bet League 2, which is, for me, it's a pittance, really. It's quite an hard task. But we've done it. We've got 25 grand. I had to press for this, but I asked for youth recruitment. It's now at above average level, which is very pleasing. So the next youth intake next year should be pretty decent. Hopefully it'll coincide with like the divisions that we're in. So I'm hoping for a decent turnout next time, because I mean we got 1 or 2 decent players last time, like the keeper and that other lad that played Draper. But other than that, everyone else was pretty gish really. I actually managed to convince the board to let us have another scout, so I'll show you him now. And it's this dude here, Espenberg. There wasn't many I could get. There's one person that was probably a little bit better with 14 on one of these. Can't remember which one it was. But I've got him mainly for all this lot, really. Not so much England, Scotland, and Republic of Ireland, because they weren't there before. But more the knowledge that he's got in Sweden. Well, basically all the Nordic countries. So very pleased to have him on board. I'm just going to put this screen on briefly. I know it's probably a bit randomly placed. But if you want to pause it and have a look, by all means you can do. The thing I was going to look was highlighting is a 15-year-old debutant being Draper against Forest Green. That's the reason I did it basically. Oh, and this fewest defeats in the season as well, 7. Apparently it's a record for Tranmere. Oh look, good old Jason Kumas. I'm sad to see him go to West Brom. He was a good player as well. Right, so the best 11 awards here. It says there's only 3 players. Stephen Sessegnon, Isaac Christie Davis and Regan Slater were the only ones that were made to be part of the entire squad. From our time anyway. The end of season awards were next, and Divine Green just swept everything apart from the side of the season because it couldn't be that. He couldn't win that. That was Rob Correa. If you look at the stats there, let's have a quick gander there. Regan Slater with an 89 pass completion rate, which is very impressive. But yeah, 1 red card. It was Stephen Sessegnon. I think it was late-ish on the season, but I can't remember when. But that's his first red card in a competitive game anyway, since I started this save. I had an end of season team meeting, and I basically said with a few additions we'll have enough to basically attempt to stay up basically. I didn't say fight bravely or whatever. The lowest one I did the 1 up, and they loved it, so Again, everyone can say, oh, mid-table finish, but we've got to remember we've come up 2 consecutive promotions from the Tranmere National League, so we need to bear that in mind. Then some absolutely massive news here. The board have announced plans to build a new stadium and are in the process of searching for suitable sites and possible investors. So it's very early stages, but it says the main reason behind the decision was the Rovers' current ground, Prenton Park, is an old venue with high maintenance costs. Come on, man, that's a tradition. I like traditions. I'd be absolutely gutted if we got rid of Ellen Road. So let us know what you think about that in the comments. They've also said, though, it will not be a smooth process and it will be some time before anything happens. So we're going to be at Prenton Park for at least a couple more years. I don't understand. We've had the 1 game, I think. I mean, I'll have a quick look now. We're not going to look at like the last 5 games or so. You've got 7,748. You've got 8,365. You've got 9,830. That was a very good turnout. 7,801. And then Lincoln to 8,058, and as mentioned before, 15,114. So that was the very first time that, in this save anyway, that we've actually filled the stadium. And you know why? Because we just won the league. I probably wanted to see us, well, as best side out, which I deprived them of that. But you know, it is what it is. I've got you up, so suck it up, if you know what I mean. So, bit bizarre as to why 15,000 is more, I believe, than what the Vitality Stadium, which is, I believe, is Bournemouth Stadium, holds more than that. So there's no reason to do it. It's just they're saying it's going to save us money in the long run. It's going to cost a fuck ton of money to build it, I would guess. Quick look at Richie Sutton. I did mention he retired earlier, and this is what he looks like now in terms of his non-playing role. I couldn't really keep him on, could he? At least McNulty had something about him, but Sutton, I just couldn't really. Then something else came up, which I don't think I mentioned before earlier on in the season, and that is, right at the beginning of the season, Bill Hendry here decided that he wanted to retire. So, I can't stop him retiring. And it's a shame, because he's decent. Working with youngsters and, you know, the potential, and, well, everything to do with it. I mean, his coaching's not the best, but it's definitely better than what I can get, because I'm having to replace him, because he retires in a month so I'm going to, it looks like I'm going to be letting him go early because I'm already on with replacing him. Risto Pustinen. And this is the best I can get. Working with youngsters is 20, which is what I want really. Player potential is 17. Ability on is 6. So it might vary as to how good they are when they first come in. But the potential should be there. Coaching wise, not great. I may decide to wait because I didn't realise it was another month. I thought it was going to be like in the next couple of days, so I might wait and see if anyone else comes available, so watch this space with him. One little bit of news is Jack Dunn's being chased by Carlisle. I'm not entirely sure what division they're going to be in next season. I haven't looked yet, but we'll definitely have a look. So this is all the sponsor money we seem to have, because I checked it out because of this reason. So we were hit by a tax bill. I'm thinking, hey, how have we made a profit? But it must have been because of this. It must just come in at the end of the season. And I had a look at the finances, which I will have a look at shortly. And we were like 100 grand in the white, which I thought, bloody hell, we have actually made a profit, so what's going on? But yeah, that's what I put that down to. However, we did then get the bonus payout of 160 grand, which was to be shared amongst the squad. But we did receive 525k for the League 2 Solidarity Payment Scheme, so that was nice. And as a result, that leaves us on 430,000 with the sales of the season tickets to come. So that's very pleasing indeed. So it remains to be seen what sort of budgets we're going to be on. We've got a new scouting budget and what have you. Still on the UK and Ireland, it seems. But I'm not too bothered at the minute. This is looking a bit more healthier, and hopefully it'll continue, like I said, with the season tickets. Then hopefully the gate receipts will keep us afloat, basically keep us in the white. And who knows? Hopefully then we can start to look at improving his training facilities, etc. Because I've tried, and I've been knocked back every single time. In fact, I might try now. So I'm going to try and improve the youth facilities. I'm going to say I want to improve the facilities to try and, you know, challenge for a first team role. We're not really considered due to the financial situation. What? Knackers. Let's try the others. Training. Come on, mate. Come on. You could do it. I'm going to be cheeky and say now we're in a better financial position. No. Apparently not. Doesn't work. And then finally I'll try doing the data analysis. I don't even know if it means anything. I'll try the top one, see if that works. Yeah, they are going to do it. I don't know how much it's going to cost. Let's have a quick gander. We are nearly at the top, actually. 24 grand, I can live with that. 24 grand, it's sod all, isn't it, really? Right, then we'll move on to this part here. There's going to be some disappointment in a minute. You'll see why shortly. We've got 4 players in the Team of the Year. Not surprisingly, with our defence. Davis in goal, Hound and the Clegg. I don't know why I'm calling him the Clegg. Not once did I play him that way around. It was always the other way around with Clegg on the left, since he's left-footed. Sexton on the right. Not that it really matters, but you know what I mean. And yeah, very pleased to have it. It's not really often that my defence is that good. I'm usually attack, score shitloads of goals, concede loads of goals, but end up scoring about 40 more goals than what I score, than what I concede, sorry, which is exactly what we've done pretty much. I think we end up on plus 37, I think. But we only got 80 goals, I think, if I looked at the table, if I remember rightly, which normally it's close to 100, so that's probably one of the lowest tallies that I've had. But the defence has been a lot solider, and like I said, the least in the entire league, less than a goal a game, which is very, very pleasing indeed. What isn't pleasing, though, and I wish... I mean, I don't even remember seeing a vote where I could vote for someone, right? So I don't know what's happened. But I lost to Dean Saunders in the manager of the season. I mean, I don't understand it, because they finished 3rd on the last game of the season. They finished mid-table last season. We got promoted from the division below last season through the playoffs, so technically we should be the least favourite out of all the 3 teams that came up. Sorry, the 2 teams that came up. Surely it had to be us. I had the manager of the months. I had 4. No one else had more than 1 at the time. So how on earth do you win this? The fact that I didn't vote shouldn't matter, because I didn't vote for. I wouldn't have voted for Dean Saunders. I'd have voted for someone who probably finished about 7th. What I gotta do to win an award? Never mind. Right, we're approaching the end of this end of season review. I just want to touch on all the leagues, especially the domestic ones, and we'll have a look at the League Cup winner, the FA Cup winner, the Checker Trade Trophy winner, and probably then the Europa League and Champions League, and see what went down basically. So we'll start with our division. You know, here, as I mentioned, we scored 80 goals, only conceded 42. It was actually plus 38 in the end. Mansfield won 6-3 in the last game of the season, which meant that threw them miles in front, because we were tied on goal difference. But it didn't matter, because we had that extra point that basically made it so I could play all my kids. So I wasn't too bothered about that. Grimsby Town and Accrington Stanley went down. That rhymes, sort of. Yeah, it does rhyme. I'm a poet and I don't even know it. And yeah, Crawley got out of it by the skin of the teeth. They were bottom for ages. I seem to remember they took points off us, I think they drew with us. As mentioned, Mansfield and Stevenage came up along with Swindon Town. The teams that we're not going to be facing, we'll have a look in next, in the division above. Well, teams we're not going to be facing is Bristol City, Burton and Barnsley. The 3 teams that came down last season, looking at that. They're going straight back up. Portsmouth, I think, got beat in the final by Barnsley. Also, we're not going to be facing Rochdale, Shrewsbury, Coventry and Wickham. A bit surprised about that. Carlisle, of course, they went up last season. They're after done. I've not decided whether they're going to be able to sign him. But some big sides in this league. We've got Portsmouth already, Wigan, Charlton, Peterborough to some extent. Bradford City are usually decent on this game. And yeah, we won't talk about what's at the top of the table. We'll get to that shortly. I think you'll know why, especially if you're one of the Leeds fans that subscribe to me. But we are going to be facing Blackburn Rovers, Sheffield United and Oldham, so we could be playing against Regan Slater, which is a bit of a pain in the dick, if I'm honest with you. But yes, if you notice, yeah, I've already seen they got beat 2-0 against Derby in the playoff final, did Leeds. Which is a shame. They pissed all over Norwich. And Derby had 2-3-2 wins against Huddersfield, and unfortunately it's Derby going up with Preston North End and Watford as champions. And just for the Leeds fans, Christensen went to Sevilla, I think it was. Went to one of the big sides in Spain. So we've ended up with some guy called Roger Schmidt, who is the opposite of shit, really. It doesn't look bad. And then finally, the one that's probably the most important for a lot of people. Interestingly, I can see that there's 5 Champions League sides, so I'm guessing someone won. Maybe Liverpool. Please don't be Liverpool. 6 times! Saying that, some of you might be Liverpool fans and Tranmere fans, so I don't want to upset you that much. But anyway, yeah, Middlesbrough have gone down, Fulham have gone down, as have Sunderland. So that's the 3 teams that came up last season. Yes, it is. So pretty much exactly, just carry on as per. The top 6 is as expected, but Newcastle maybe less so, but they're in the Europa League, so that's very nice for them. Man United, of course, winning the title with Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, and for some reason Liverpool, we'll check that out shortly, in the Champions League. Chelsea missing out. The FA Cup was won by Manchester United. They beat West Brom in the final 1-0. The Carabao Cup, where we was so, dreadfully eliminated with that shocking back pass earlier on in the season. It was won by Chelsea in the end, beating Southampton in the final 3-1. So well done to them. At least they got a trophy despite finishing 6th. And the Checker Trade Trophy was won by Newcastle United's under-23s, beating Charlton in the final, which well done to Charlton for getting there, I suppose, because it seems a lot of the under-23s kind of OP sides. I mean, remember when we played Man City? Fucking bacon sarnie. Right, so here is the reason as to why Liverpool are in the Champions League. They've actually won the Europa League, the Euro Cup, as it's called on here. They beat Sporting Lisbon in the final 2-1, so that explains it. That's so Liverpool have won yet another European Cup, so fair play to them. Right, so obviously you're waiting for the Champions League result, I guess. But I've had to move forward a few days because it was played on the 1st of June, which I found a bit bizarre. But yeah, Hendry, I was right. He's retired. He set his retired date to just after the season finished, basically, rather than his full contract. So he has gone. So I've got that guy in. You can see it up there. That's a confirmation. Got a lot of contracts to sort out in terms of the staff. So it's going to take a while to sort all that out, I think. Either that, I'll have a look for some others, maybe. Someone else. There's some decent people there, but it depends if we can get any better. He most certainly will be staying. Look at that machine. And here is the Champions League final, and it appears that Man United have won it on penalties. They played against Chelsea. Yeah, both down to 10 men at one point. Yeah, a bit gutting that Man United won it. Saying that they're both rivals of Leeds from my point of view, but yeah, it's Man United treble, I believe. Won the league, FA Cup, and the Champions League, so fair play to them. So lastly, bear in mind, I've just had to wait ages and I've had to cut out about 5 minutes because I had to play on, or press continue. Then it's saved, which takes about a week. And yeah, I want to go to this stage, so you can see here everything is going hunky-dory. It's fantastic. If I go to the board confidence, I mean, look at that, 97%. That's the highest I think I've ever seen any of my job securities. I'm absolutely buzzing my tits off. Club philosophies will be holding it down because I don't have any. But I mean, that might change. I might say I want to use youngsters or something just so I can have something to be marked against. But yeah, I cannot be happy with how this has gone. And yeah, so hopefully you're going to join us for the beginning of next season. So that is it, guys. Thank you very much for staying as long as you have, if you've got to this point, because I know I don't know at this point, but I know that the recording itself is 51 minutes at this point, so hopefully you have enjoyed it. I just want to say a massive thank you for all your support on the series so far. We're going to carry it on. We're going to try and at least get to the championship and then take it from there. But yeah, obviously, I'm hoping it's obvious. I'm really enjoying this save. We've had us ups and downs. We've had us downs fairly early. We've managed to creep it up a little bit. But this tactic seems to, and the players that I've brought in seem to have fitted together perfectly. And yeah, I've been absolutely buzzing. With the fact that you guys have been watching this and liking it, and I'm gradually gaining subscribers as well, which is fantastic news for the channel. But also, please, if you want us to do well, I mean, you might not give a shit, but if you do, please go ahead and press that like button. Let your friends know, might be Tranmere fans, or might just be fans of Football Manager. If you think I'm worth sharing with them, do it. Just do it. Help us out if you can. I do try to put a lot of work in, which reminds me as well. Chances are I'm going to have to edit or alter the thumbnail, which means altering the intro, which means it might take a little bit of extra work. Plus, I've got all the summer to do as well, including friendlies and what have you. Although I might do a one when I come back just at the beginning of friendlies, so I can break it up a little bit. So there's a chance, because this video will be going out on the Tuesday, and with my stuff that happens on a Wednesday with the Collab crew, obviously Twitch stream, don't forget. And there might be a chance that I might miss a day, maybe 2, it depends, just because of real life things as well. So hopefully not, hopefully I'll get it sorted before that, but if it does come to that, I'll either edit this out or I'll leave it in, depending on whether I've had to miss a couple of days. But you've all been awesome anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully join us for the next one in the new season, but until then, I'll see you then, bye bye.